Good morning, Gregor. Thank you. Good morning, Pierre-Luc. What did you think of the first look of the new line combination the other night?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, there's so much depth in this lineup that wherever you are, whoever you're playing with, we're playing with talented guys. But I thought last game we had a good game. I think regardless of the goal, I think we had a good game. We had good shifts. We controlled possession. I thought for a good chunk of the game, which is what I think we should look to do it every game. But hopefully, it could keep going in the future.
We'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Thanks, Gregor. Good morning, Pierre-Luc. Paul alluded to the fact that they're still kind of looking for the perfect fit for you. You'd love it to click right away when you get here, of course. How hard is it to stay patient?
I mean, it's part of the process. Obviously, it's the first time I get traded, but you don't develop chemistry overnight. It takes practices, which we don't have this year, and it takes games. So it's kind of like your practice reps are in games, which isn't ideal of it. But I think that the more I get to play here, and even if I'm not necessarily playing with the guys get to see how I play. Guys get to see what my tendencies are, and when lines change, the other players they know a bit more about me just from watching me play. So the more games we go, and the more plays I make and stuff like that, I think chemistry, that's how it develops.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Gregor. Good morning, Pierre-Luc. Just kind of interested on what your response would be. The other night, in the replay showed, it looked like a very clean and legal hit on Chris Tanev. Yep, there's a reaction, and that seems to be the way that it is. So when you're delivering a hit like that, Pierre-Luc, are you also anticipating the response that you're going to get from that player's teammates? And I'm guessing it doesn't affect your decision to continue to play physical. Yeah,
I mean, it was one of those plays where, I mean, the game is so fast that once you commit to a check, it's your momentum's bringing you into it. It's almost impossible to stop. It was unfortunate. I was glad to see when he came back into the game. I was glad to see that he was okay. It was an awkward hit, awkward situation, but in the game of hockey, sometimes when stuff happens, teammates stand up for each other, and his teammates stood up for him, and I was kind of expecting it, and the rest of the game, I knew that some guys would make sure that they get a hit on me and stuff like that, but it's part of the game, and that's what makes hockey a competitive sport, and that's what makes hockey it's fun to watch. Is it's very competitive out there, not just scoring goals, but also in physical play. So it's all part of the game.
We'll go next to Paul Stravevsky from NHL.com. Go ahead, Paul.
Good morning, Pierre-Luc. Irrespective of you getting traded recently, I want to ask you more as an observer, I guess, of the league. As we're approaching this trade deadline, are you seeing this being a lot different, any different from a regular trade deadline? With the divisions being different, with the schedule being more condensed, I suppose. Is it a different dynamic as it feels to you as a player?
Maybe a little bit. As a player, every year you just try to concentrate on what you can do on the ice and how you can play and help the team. But every year at the trade deadline, you see rumors, you hear about stuff. You try not to think about it too much because it's out of your control. But it's always kind of hanging there until the trade deadline ends. And this year with the COVID and quarantine and all those things, I'm not sure exactly how the people in charge are looking at it. But for us as players, I've always said we have one job, and it's to play, and it's not think about anything else on the outside. And you look at this team, we have depth throughout the entire lineup, so we're not preoccupied about stuff like that.
We'll go next to Jason Bell from the Free Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Pierre-Luc, thanks for doing this. Just that the other night, playing with the two veterans in Blake and Paul Stastny, I mean, what was that experience like? Are you a real student when you're watching those guys and trying to soak it in? Is there a lot of chatter?
Yeah. I mean, there's two guys that I used to watch and admire when I was younger, before I got into the league, and now to be able to play with them on the same team, you learn a lot. But playing on the same line with them, it's easier to learn their tendencies and stuff like that. What makes them so good, and whether it's with or without the puck in the D zone or in the O zone, they're two players that I can really learn from, and I think that I'm so far from reaching my potential. But the only way to reach it is to learn, and to learn from guys like that, and guys like Shai from coaching staffs, like the coaching staff here. So it was a great experience for me, and it has been since I've been here.
We'll go next to Sarah Orleski from TSN. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hey, Pierre-Luc, just following up on Jason's question there with that. Do you play a different style when you're playing Blake and Paul as opposed to guys that have kind of the speed of Kyle and Nick?
Yeah, I think as a centerman, you have to kind of adapt. You always want to be supporting, the defensemen and especially the wingers, but with whoever you're playing with, you have to kind of read off them and make plays to help them a bit more. And it's all part of the process of being a new player on the team. Chemistry doesn't develop overnight, and you look like at last game with Stats and Wills, and I was just trying to be supportive out there for them. Not get too close, not get too far. Try to talk as much as I could. Ask questions on the bench and stuff like that. But they're great with helping me and with making the transition easy.
We'll go next to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Pierre-Luc, what are the keys to having success against guys like Matthews and Marner?
To me, I think they're two fantastic players. They're two guys that love having the puck, that love creating opportunities in the offensive zone, and their offense, arguably even starts in their D zone when they get the puck. So I think the key to playing guys like that is to control the puck, have possession. It's fun to get chances, but sometimes the play is just keeping it and making a play 5 seconds later. And I think the more possession you have, the more puck domination you could have throughout the game, the more success you'll have. So it's always fun competition going against guys like that. But I think that we do a lot of good things too, and we just have to stick to that.
And final question to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi, Pierre-Luc. I apologize if this has been asked, my computer cut out, but you were talking about building chemistry and how it takes time. It seems like Blake Wheeler's ability to find you when you've been on a line with him has seemed to have come pretty quick. Can you give me an idea why you think that works? Is it you, like you said, playing off him and knowing where to be, or his ability to find you?
Yeah, I think at the base of it, I saw a stat the other day. I'm not too sure what it is, but it was like since 2014-15, he's had the most assists or something like that in the NHL. So, he's a guy that can find anybody out there. But I think that I try to learn from his game. I try to play a similar style in the offensive zone where he controls pucks on the half walls, finds guys in the middle of the ice. He's great at that. So, developing chemistry takes time, but even if I hadn't necessarily played with him that much, you see him when you see the pockets he's looking for on the ice, and when it's my turn to play with him, then I got to find that space for him. And same thing with Stas. He's really good on the walls. Quick little plays in the middle. So it's just my job to be there for them.